Hello, Las Vegas. It's Monique Buchanan, the host of the Welcome Home with Monique show, and I have an amazing show for you today. Listen, I've got great things going on. I am so truly blessed. I just actually bought my own second home. We actually upgraded me and my family, and I'm just excited to talk to you all about that. I know you guys have heard me talk about that I was going to buy another home for my family. Well, guess what? We got keys on Friday, so I'm so excited. We're not quite in there, so that's part of the show too. I've got my family has flown down. They have business here in Vegas, but one of his businesses is that he does flooring. Him and his son, and they do all type of things like that. And they're out here on a project, and I am blessed enough to have them on the show today. I also have none other than the Mexico guy. Listen, I know a lot of you guys out there are wanting to retire and maybe buy investment properties in Mexico, or heck, maybe you just want to move to the beach, okay? Because I know I do. So I decided to bring on none other than the Mexico guy. So let me go ahead and just introduce everybody that I have on today. I've got on the Mexico guy. Robert, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks again for Monique for having me come on board today.
Oh, man, I've been looking forward to this. Really, I have. And also my cousin, Ty Sr. How are you, Ty?
I'm good. I'm here with you. Thanks for having us today, and look forward to being here.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming. So, Ty Jr., welcome to the show, Ty.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm excited. I just flew in. I'm excited to be able to hang out with family and take care of some work stuff at the same time. It kind of makes the best vacation.
Thank you, Ty. You know I appreciate it. Yeah. All right, so we're going to start off with the Mexico guy. So what we're going to do is there's so many misconceptions about buying property in Mexico, and I want you to bust that up. That's what my show's all about. Busting up these myths about buying homes. Oh, you got to have $100,000, 20% down to buy. That's not true. That's absolutely not true. You only need 3.5% down. So that's what started this show. Busting up these myths, letting people or explaining to people how it is achievable to become homeowners, how it is achievable to be investors, even in Mexico. So why don't you just go ahead and take it from there, Robert?
Well, just to let everybody know, it is safe in Riviera Maya, Mexico. To be quite honest, I feel safer whether I'm in Tulum, Playa del Carmen, or Cancun than I am here in Las Vegas. And I'm just being honest. I've been living there off and on for about 7 years, and I have never felt safer. So that kind of eliminates the safety myth. Also, just to let you know, the federal government has focused everything on Riviera Maya for its safety. They do not want any problems. So you feel free to walk at 2 o'clock in the morning down Fifth Avenue in Playa del Carmen, and you will be completely safe.
Okay, let me jump in real quick. You're saying that the area of Mexico, and guys, Ty, Senior and Junior, if you have questions, go ahead and ask him, because he, me and him are both realtors, so we have the realtor mindset. You know what I mean? So you guys would be the ones to ask these questions that maybe my listeners are wanting to ask, but they're not here right now. So real quick, what area, when you said that, the Riviera, what city is that exactly is that for in Mexico?
Riviera Maya is also known as Quintana Roo, and it includes going south from Tulum all the way up north to Cancun, and also partially bending around to the Yucatan Peninsula, which is on the Gulf Coast also of Mexico. So it includes that whole Caribbean side.
Oh, nice. We like the Caribbean side. Now, Ty, have you guys, either one of you guys, been to Tulum?
I've never been out to Mexico. I really wanted to go there before, but I just haven't had the chance yet. Been busy working, but I'm really interested to learn more about what he has to talk about.
Right. And now, now, you got to be honest. One of the first things he started with was, hey, guys, it's safe. Now, have you guys, Ty Sr., heard that it's not safe to purchase property in Mexico, or, you know what I mean? So
no, I've been there once when I was younger, just on a vacation to Cancun. But I've never actually looked into buying property there. But so I'm, interested in hearing what he has to say more too as well.
Yeah, and I will say this: I've been to Mexico many times. I love Cancun. I like Cabo's my favorite. But I will say that I've walked at night in Cabo, and I felt completely safe. You know what I mean? I didn't feel any kind of anxiety about walking around in Cabo. So I'm glad that you led with that it is safe to purchase there. So let me ask you this. One of the other myths that I hear a lot about purchasing property in Mexico is, hey, you can't own land in Mexico. The Mexican government doesn't actually let you own it. They'll only let you rent it for 100 years. What do you say to that, Robert?
That also is a myth. About 15 to 20 years ago, the Mexican government passed legislation where all foreigners can own land and property in Mexico. And you're owning it under what's called a fideicomiso, which is basically a bank trust. In the past, they had some problems on the Pacific side with land ownership, people coming in after the fact you build saying the land was theirs.
Wow.
However, to eliminate that problem and embarrassment, the federal government has mandated that anybody who's purchasing property in Riviera Maya, they can get a bank trust that's backed by the federal government. And what's great is you can completely control the property. You can resell it, will it to your kids, modify it, do anything you want. All it's going to have is a government seal for your own protection. And yes, it is for 100 years, and it's completely renewable. And you can will it to your kids, grandkids, family members, anybody. But yes, you can own land.
Okay,
Wow.
so
Wow, that's cool.
yeah, that is cool. So you said it's for 100 years. So you're saying that if I own that property and, I pass away, because thank you, Jesus, I lived 100 years, then what happens?
Well, normally what families do is they put their children and grandchildren on the bank trust.
Okay.
So it'll be wheeled back down to them. So if anything does happen to you, God forbid, they'll have ownership of the property also, and the Mexican government respects that.
What about like property tax? Do you have to pay like property tax?
That's a
year
great
over year?
question.
Property taxes are 0.1%.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm all in. Let's go.
Did you say 0.1%?
0.1%, yes.
Yeah, that's
Boy,
cool.
if my listeners in Texas hear that, they're like probably going crazy right now.
Oh, they're ready to pack up and move right
Yeah.
now.
Absolutely. 0.1%. Even out here, our taxes are not high compared to the rest of the country.
Well, the federal government's making their money on tourism. So
Yeah.
they make billions of dollars on tourism, and they want you to come and buy now, and they want you to own, so they minimize your property taxes.
Okay. So here's a thought. Here in the Las Vegas Valley, they've made it quite hard to own Airbnbs because obviously hotels don't want you in their pocket, right? So I think that right now I think Henderson is the only one that, and don't quote me, Henderson is at least one of the cities here in Vegas that will allow you to do Airbnb. How is the Mexico government if I want to invest in an Airbnb? How does that look for me?
That's a good question.
There are absolutely no restrictions
What?
in Riviera Maya,
Wow.
Mexico for Airbnbs. You can rent it full-time, rent it part-time, use property management. They have no restrictions at all with Airbnb rentals.
That's amazing. So I can use the vacation, Ty, we can use it as a vacation
Yeah.
spot, right? And then when we're not there, we can be making money on it.
And when we're there, we can put some tile in.
Yes, and then I do that too. We could flip it. In fact, you know what, Robert? We don't even need one that's already fixed. No, but what does that look like price-wise? What do you have down there right now?
Price-wise, you can get something as little as $110,000 fully furnished in Playa del Carmen,
Is it a million miles away from the beach?
5 blocks away from the beach. Fully furnished. We have one development right now, which we only have 2 units left. But you can go all the way up to $1 million properties right on the beach.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of investors currently buying. The only deposits you need down, if you're interested in something, some developers will ask you for $5,000, what's called a reservation fee. Others will only ask for $1,000 reservation fee. And that's good for 15 working days for you to do all your due diligence. Ask me, the Mexico guy, hey, I need some ROI projections. I need some information. After the 15 days, then they'll drop a purchase contract and you'll put down a 30% deposit and the balance will be due when you get your keys and delivery.
So that's more like a cash deal, right?
Yeah.
In a sense.
90% of the
Broken up.
business
Yeah.
is done in cash.
Okay.
That's a great question because,
Okay.
a lot of countries, they just take cash. They don't even, they won't even let you make this plan like he's saying. So I like that. They're breaking it up at least. So they're saying, okay, give us, a little skin in the game, $5,000, right? And then go ahead and give us 30%, right? Just like as if you were buying an investment property here in the States, you got to put 20% down.
Yeah.
So it's almost, and then the next level of that or the next, part of that is once we give you keys, then it's time to pay the whole thing.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And that's
not-
to a builder, is what is that what I'm
Yes,
understanding?
these are
That's
pre-construction projects.
pre-construction build. Okay, gotcha.
And that's primarily what we focus on. And I mainly focus on the pre-construction because I've been vetting builders there in Riviera Maya, Mexico. Some of the things that are true about Mexico is I would say about 70% of the builders are not very good.
Tell it.
So I've vetted for the past 5 years I'd say a handful of builders that I only work with exclusively where we have no problems.
And that's what makes you so, such a find. It's hard to find somebody that knows the laws in Mexico and also is living down there. So he knows he's down there. He's boots on the ground. He knows who's doing what they're supposed to do and who's not. So if you're just tuning in, this is Monique Buchanan, the Welcome Home with Monique show. I'm your host, Monique Buchanan, and I've got the Mexico guy on, along with my lovely family. They're helping me host today, ask him some questions. But if you're interested and you want more information about maybe retiring down there, maybe just buying investment property down there, but you are always kind of holding back because you don't know anybody down there, right? And you want to make sure you have a reputable realtor who is licensed not only in Mexico, but here in the States. That is very hard to find, okay? He's a rare find. You can reach him at 702-984-3700, 702-984-3700. My website is welcomehomewithmonique.com. My IG is at Realtor Monique Buchanan. So let's jump back into it. Like I said, that's amazing. So the builders that are reputable, that are going to get the job done, that have a proven track record. I mean, that alone, right, Ty? That's,
That's big.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
big because
absolutely.
you guys are in
Big.
construction.
Yep.
And are all the construction people?
No. And it gets scary when you're across, state lines and stuff like that, and people have stuff going on. They can't always be there to manage it and watch it. So
Right.
to be able to reach out to him, and get some knowledge from him, to be able to know who to work with would definitely be a big thing.
Been
It'd
through
save
the
you
process
a headache and
already.
money in a long ways.
Ty, you make a really good point. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
You're not there.
Yeah.
But he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He lives there. He's able to run over and check on your property. I mean, that is tremendous, right? Because that's what makes us nervous and hesitant about purchasing even out of state, like you said, Ty. That was a great point. But yeah, so that's awesome. So there's reputable builders. You know the law. So what you said that the law is. Can you just restate the law one more time? Just because I think I must have.
Okay, well,
missed
basically,
it.
anybody can own land in Riviera Maya, Mexico.
Okay.
Okay, and you're purchasing it under a bank trust.
Mm-hmm.
So it's completely under your name. It's just going to have the bank seal on it for
Okay.
your own protection, so nobody can come in at a later date
Right.
saying that the property is theirs.
Right.
Right.
So yes, it is safe to own there. Minimum deposit down is a reservation fee of between $1,000 to $5,000, depending on the builder. After 15 days, they require a 30% deposit, and the balance can either be paid when you get your keys upon delivery, or they'll break it down on equal monthly payments.
But it has to be cash?
We do offer financing in Mexico. However, the interest rate there, you'll get the same interest rate as the locals get, but it's high. It's about 11 or 12%.
Okay.
Sometimes it makes sense, depending on your cash flow, but we do offer lending.
Okay.
What about this question? What about like resale or equity or gaining value? How does
That's
all
good.
that look?
That's an awesome question. On average, over the past 5 years, when somebody buys a pre-construction deal, the average increase in value by the time you get your keys is between 30 to 40%.
No way.
Before you even get your keys, and I'll tell you why. Most people that are investing down there want to cash flow right away for Airbnb rentals. They don't want to wait for pre-construction. So a lot of other investors are flipping paper. They're basically purchasing the unit. Right before they get the keys, they call me, Robert, resell it. And I've got a list of buyers who want to buy and rent right away upon taking delivery.
Nice.
That's why the value's gone up, and that's why these investors who want to use Airbnb rentals are willing to pay the higher margin because they don't have to wait for construction.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a headache that scares a lot of people, construction, and so
It is a scary thing.
And one of the good things about it, too, is since I'm there, anybody that purchases on a monthly basis, I send you an updated video of the actual construction project.
wow.
That's
So
awesome.
you see it on a monthly basis.
Yeah, it takes all
That
the
is
anxiety away right there.
Yes, it
just
does.
knowing somebody's there for you, knowing somebody's gonna look out and watch the property and
Yes.
give you updates and stuff like that. That's a good thing.
Now, Robert, when we spoke, you were telling me about your approach to my demographic, which is most of my demographic is retirees that are listening. What would you say to them? You're saying that a lot of them are reaching out to you and pulling out HELOCs?
Yes, a lot of them are getting HELOCs on their current property or even doing reverse mortgages.
Yes, I
because
love
now
those.
currently reverse mortgages allow you to pull X amount out and you can use it for a retirement property in Mexico.
Wow.
So a lot of people are doing that now. A lot of the retirement community everybody knows what's going on with inflation and the cost of living. A lot of the people that move to Las Vegas and Del Webb communities and retirement communities, they can't really afford to stay here anymore and retire here. So now here's a clear opportunity where they can go ahead and find a beautiful home by the beach that's safe and secure and live off their equity that they have here and also live in paradise.
And that brings up another good question would be like, what about food, like restaurants or going out to eat or shopping?
Medical.
Stuff, stuff on like that. Is it fairly inexpensive to eat? Or
On average, say if you're on Fifth Avenue, the tourist areas, you're going to be paying the same price that you're paying here in Vegas.
Right.
However, 4 blocks away, you have the same restaurants and the cost is about half.
That's
of
why
what you
I
pay.
walk when I'm in Mexico.
Yes. So the cost of living, it would be at least half straight across the board on everything that you're going to be doing there. You're going to have the tourist areas, which are comparable,
Right.
but just a few blocks away, you're back with the locals.
electrical, water, stuff like that.
How's
all
the
same
infrastructure?
Yeah.
Infrastructure in Playa del Carmen is strong because they've been around for a long time. They don't have any problems.
Sweet.
Cancun, strong. Also Merida, strong. Tulum, they built very quickly and it's in the jungle. So
Yeah.
they're still kind of figuring that out.
Yeah.
However, the builders I deal with have already have all the permits pulled. They're already juiced up. They've got the water lines. And that's what's critical because there's a lot of developers that are building. And when you take delivery, you don't have water and you don't have power.
Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
And because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. So, but with my builders, when you get your keys, you can move in that night.
So if you're just tuning in again and you're interested in speaking with none other than the Mexico guy, my friend Robert, he is all things in Mexico. If you're thinking about investing or even just being an expat, moving to Mexico, he is your resource. 702-984-3700. 702-984-3700. I will get you in the hands of Mr. Robert. So let's go on. You've given so much great information. I'm blown away with the prices. You said that there's fully furnished condos 5 blocks away from the beach as low as $110,000.
Yes.
And you do have a resale list, like my cousin pointed out as well, that you can you, like, how does that work? Do you email people this? How, if they want to look at this list?
Everything basically is on a Google Drive. So if anybody's interested in any portion of Mexico, you can say, Robert, can you get me information on Playa del Carmen? Here's my budget, and this is what I'm looking for, bed and baths.
Right.
At that point, what I'll do is I'll send you the actual developer's Google Drive, which will have a brochure. It'll have the layouts, the floor plans, pricing, reservation fee, deposits. It'll have everything on there. And I'm more than willing to get on a Zoom call with you to explain everything. Everything's in English and Spanish.
Okay.
And so basically you'll have all the information at your fingertips. And they do everything there, not by email. Everything is on WhatsApp, including contract signings.
But I know a lot of people might shy away from that. Is that their only option, WhatsApp?
No, we can traditionally go through email.
Okay.
But it's a lot quicker going through WhatsApp.
Okay. Well, that's really good to know. Wow, I'm just blown away with all this
A
information
lot of
on
people
Mexico.
get scared for WhatsApp, but it's when you have someone, in the middle that's kind of familiar with both sides of it, he kind of helps take away that
Anxiety.
Guide you
Right.
through it, yeah.
And and like I said, he's a licensed
Yep.
realtor. Many countries you do not have to be licensed to be a realtor.
And I'll basically talk more about that too. 90% of the agents in Mexico are not licensed.
Oh my gosh, I
Yes,
can't
I'll
imagine.
repeat that. They are not licensed.
Ooh,
so most of the
scary.
buyers are going on Google, looking at people that are saying they're realtors in Mexico, in Cancun, in Playa del Carmen, saying, hey, I can help you buy a property. And a lot of them are basically just asking you for money up front as a realtor, which is not allowed to be done here in the United States. But they're doing it there, and these people are losing that money, and they never hear back from the imaginary realtor. So it's very important
Yes.
to deal with the realtor. I think I'm only one of a handful that are both licensed in the United States and in Mexico.
Is there anything else you want to let my listeners know?
No, just that it is safe. We have a brand new airport open in Tulum.
Nice.
It's a Tulum International Airport, which is now taking all international flights. And also we have what's called the Mayan train, which also is functional, which is connecting all of Riviera Maya from down south by Belize, all the way up to Cancun, all the way around to Merida, and all the way back down to Belize,
Wow.
which now will cut your travel time if you're there vacationing in half.
What's the travel time looking like from like somewhere in the United States?
Say for example, If you're a flight going to Cancun a direct flight is going to be about 4 hours, 4.5 hours.
man, that's not bad
Or if
at
you have
all.
a simple layover, it's 5.5 hours because you'll be laid over like in Dallas or Houston. But yeah, it's unbelievable. It's close by. To touch a little bit about medical,
Sure.
Yes, you can get medical insurance in Mexico.
Okay.
It's about $1,200 or $1,300 a year, a lot less
A
expensive
year?
than here. Yes,
Not a month?
not a month. And also, they're building more and more state-of-the-art hospitals in Riviera Maya to accommomate the tourism.
Did any of you guys
Why
have
build a
questions?
cabin in Minnesota where you can hop on a flight instead of driving 4 hours? You can fly 4 hours and be in
Right.
Mexico.
Oh,
Right.
gosh,
Crystal
on
blue
the
water.
beach, on the
With
beach.
medical.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will say, I've been to Cancun multiple times, and the reason I never went to Tulum was because my brother told me it was like a 2-hour drive. So now with that train, how long will it take to get to Tulum?
Currently, right now, if you're in Cancun and you're driving to Tulum, it's going to be about a 2.5-hour drive. With the train, it's going to be cut down to about 30 minutes.
Oh my gosh, that's major. When is this train going to be completed?
It's functional right now, but it's in stages. It'll be completely functional with all the routes in place by the end of the year.
Okay, you guys, now that is the writing on the wall. Just like I tell you guys about Vegas, the writing is on the wall. We've got the Oakland A's coming. We've got the Raiders. You know, Sony's breaking ground. We're about to make movies here in Vegas. The writing's on the wall.
So, Robert, let me ask you. I thought that you always had to have dual citizenship to be able to buy property in Mexico. Is that
That's a
so?
good
Is that
question.
not true? Or
Yeah.
No, not true at all. The reason you don't want dual citizenship there is you'll then become under the Mexican taxation laws. So we recommend that people don't get their dual citizenship. It's not mandatory or necessary. Some people will do it upon retirement because they're not making any more income and they're living off their income in Mexico, which will go a lot further. So in that case, you can get your dual citizenship. What some people do is they'll get their residency. Which you automatically will get when you purchase a property. It'll fast track you to get residency there, so you'll be a dual resident of the United States and Mexico.
There you go.
Well, you know what? I'm just going to admit my ignorance. That's what I thought dual citizenship was, but there's such a thing as the
Residency is
That's what
different.
I was wanting. I want to have, multiple. Okay, so you can be a resident of the United States and a resident of Mexico. Oh, that's awesome. What do you think, Ty?
I like it.
Are we buying in Mexico?
I'm all in. I'm
Cassandra,
go now.
get ready. Your husband's
It's only a
buying in
4-hour
Mexico.
flight, 4-hour flight. We're
Fine.
good.
All right,
Yeah,
so
I'm
that's
going.
awesome. All right, well, we're going to pivot a little bit. Thank you again, Robert, for all that info. And just hang out with us, and we might
Sure.
still have some more questions. But I want to introduce, once again, my listeners. But before I do, if you're interested, 702-984-3700, I will get you in the hands of Robert, because I know a lot of you guys are fumbling in your car trying to find something to write that down with. Don't worry. I say my number one more time at the end of the show, and you can go ahead and reach out, or you can jump on my website, welcomehomewithmonique.com, or IG is welcome. Oh, no, it isn't. It's Realtor Monique Buchanan. But I will get you in the hands of Mr. Robert, and he will take care of you with your Mexico needs, all right? And don't worry, you guys. He'll be coming back on again. But let's pivot. Family's in town. I'm so excited. So I want to introduce you once again to my cousin, my first cousin, Ty Sr., and his firstborn, Ty Jr. And they own a flooring company that does just mostly commercial, right?
Yeah, we started with residential, but right now we currently do mostly commercial. We do residential too because we're kind of, we like to take anything that gets in front of us and
Right.
get it done, and so that's kind of how we work. But
And I've seen your guys' social, so they live out of state, you guys. This is my family they live in Minnesota right now, but they're originally from Seattle, like me, of course. So,
Right.
But I've seen all the work that you've done online. And all across the United States, Ty Sr. and Ty Jr. are putting their flooring in throughout the whole United States. And so I feel so honored to have them even touch my little old abode. When did you guys start the business?
2012, we sold everything. We used to live in an apartment in Arizona, and we sold everything and kind of moved to Minnesota. And then we kind of just, took my mom's tax return check, bought some tools, and that was kind of it.
No, that's a testimony. I love that. I love a good testimony.
Yeah.
Hey, we keep it 100 on this show.
Yeah, it
They've
was-
heard my testimony a
it was
1,000
struggles
times.
then.
I love it. But look where God's brought you, right?
Yeah, we came a long way from riding on the bucket. That's where I started. I was just like 11, 12 years old, and so it just started going to work. Before school, sometimes I'd go to work after school, and I'd work all summer, and I was blessed to be able to learn the opportunity. I could have took a lot of time and went out and hung out with friends and party, but I went and worked to learn a trade, and that gave me a big leap ahead. By the time everybody else graduated, and finished high school and stuff like that, I was already a couple years into my trade with experience, and that was a big blessing alone right there.
Yes, and if you guys are hearing, this is my baby cousin, y'all. You don't hear too many 26 years old like this, but that builds character. You're like, hey, I skipped out on summers and I was working. And now your life is truly blessed and you have a skill that nobody can ever take away from you.
100%.
That's an amazing
I can forever
testimony.
eat off of that skill. And I believe trades are big, and I know we're really tech crazy right now, but everyone should learn a trade because it's something you can always eat off of,
That's absolutely, I agree.
That's another big part of what we do as a company. We help disadvantaged kids, and
Yes, you do.
That's the most rewarding part. Is being able to help them and show them a trade so that they can, it's a tool in their toolbox where they can go out and eat now.
Absolutely.
In a positive way.
Yes.
And that's just the biggest and most rewarding part of it. But yeah.
So I'm just going to jump in real quick. We only have a couple minutes, but I will say this. I have witnessed my cousin and his beautiful wife do exactly that. Show love to children that are not theirs, bringing them into their own home and teaching them this trade. And that's why God is truly, I told you that the other day, God has truly blessed you because you're blessing others. And your worker that you had at my house, well, you didn't call him your worker. You called him my son.
Yes.
One of my sons. And I love that.
And there's like 50 of them.
Yes. And he told me, he said, Monique, I was working at a gas station and your cousin, he brought me into his family. He goes, and I love him so much and I'll always be true to him. And he said, and another thing, I'll always have this skill no matter what in life. So, guys, I just want you to know I'm so grateful. So, Robert, I just bought a home. It's a beautiful home, but it's a used home. It's a resale, but I like it that way. I like to make things my own. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yep.
So as soon as I told my cousin, hey, I got the keys to my house, I got this big old 90s tile in here I don't like. And, I'm just talking to him. Next thing you know, I wake up, there's like 5 guys at my door, 8 a.m. and they're ripping up the tile for me. So, your blessings come in all different types of ways. Sometimes they're not cash, you know what I mean?
No.
But God blesses us in so many different kind of ways. So he blessed me with having cousins and family that is actually willing to turn around and help me out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm so grateful for that.
The fun part is you get to pick everything, all the colors. And, that's the
Yes.
great thing about buying a new home, or
It is.
even a slightly used home. You get to put your own personal touches on it.
Yeah.
That's the best part of moving in.
Yeah. So
Getting-
Ty, if
getting
there's
going.
companies that are hearing right now, if they want to get a hold of you guys, can you shout out your company? Because
Always
yes,
tile and stone.
Tile and stone.
And we also do,
Always.
we do carpet, tile, anything. We do any type of flooring, but it's always tile and stone. Any job you got, any size, it can be from 1,000 square feet, it could be to 300,000 square feet. We can get it done, and we got the manpower to back it.
Yes,
And we
we
take
do.
very pride in our work, and all of our guys, like you said, we're a family business, and it's bled through all of our guys, and so we take very pride in our work.
And I think that you also need to start a nonprofit. You know what I mean? We got to talk about that, Ty,
Yeah.
because you know what I mean?
I agree.
Because
I've looked into it. I agree.
Yes,
Awesome.
because you guys are doing a beautiful thing by helping young men out, or women, young girls, but mainly men. I mean, 'cause
We have
that's-
a few.
We have
Yeah.
a few women that work
Yep.
for us.
Do
too.
you guys?
Yep.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So you guys are out there changing your communities, and I just want to say thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you.
Not only for what you're doing for me, but what you do for these kids. Teaching them that trade.
Yeah.
Something like you said, Ty Jr. They can eat.
Forever.
Always.
You can
And-
teach them how to fish, and they can always eat.
There
And
it is.
Junior, the biggest thing with Junior being 26, he's got a few homes going himself.
Yes, he does.
And a lot of other things going. And being 26 to be able to help all those other young guys, his patience is just above all. You got to have great patience, because they can run him around, and
Yeah.
he's always in there teaching them and just, never yells at them, never none of that, just always has
Yeah.
patience. And
Well, I
that's a
guess
big
that,
thing.
it's in our family, you guys. Our heart is in this, just like with
Yep.
not to bring it back to, but our heart is in this, right? So when you do what you love, it's like you're not working, right?
Yes.
And you're helping others. So that's awesome. Thank you guys all for coming on.
Yep.
Thank you,
you.
Monique.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, me
And if
too.
you want to get some floor and stone, one more time.
You want to
Tile
get
and
some
stone.
tile, it's always tile and stone.
Thank you. Always. Is that the name? Always Tile
Always
and Stone?
tile and
Yep.
stone.
I love it. That's easy
That's
to
all we
remember.
do.
Always Tile and Stone. And your guys' website is
AlwaysTileandStone.com.
easy as 1, 2, 3.
That's it.
And if you're trying to get a hold of Robert, 702-984-3700. Until I hear from each and every one of you, have a blessed weekend. Love y'all.
Thank you.